At 16, while others were just starting, Alysa Liu had already reached the peak of American figure skating. She had everything: national titles, triple axels, relentless headlines, and sponsorship deals, with constant cameras stalking her training before dawn. Then she walked away. No injuries, no scandal, no tragic fall. She just quit. It didn't look brave, it looked costly, because behind that choice was immense pressure. Stood a father who reportedly sank between $500,000 and $1 million into her career. Private Oakland ice, cross-country flights, and custom dresses costing more than cars. Coaches, trainers, the works. Years of choreography and sports psychologists. When someone spends that kind of money on your dream, leaving feels wrong. It feels like breaking an unwritten contract with everyone who invested in you. In April 2022, she retired quietly. No speeches, just a post. She had just placed 7th at the Beijing Olympics and grabbed world bronze. For most, that is a launch pad. But for Alysa, it was the finish line of a journey that had already cost too much. Later, she confessed skating felt like her father's business, not her own life. That confession outweighs any medal. When you are a prodigy at 13, applause replaces your actual childhood. Proms become practice, weekends become travel. Joy turns into a heavy responsibility. It looks glamorous, but elite skating is never casual. Your body is monitored, weight is scrutinized, and every rotation dissected. One tiny under-rotation can spark a massive, heated national debate. At that level, talent is just an investment portfolio to be managed. So, she simply stepped away. For nearly 2 years, she did what elite athletes never do. She lived without competing. She hiked Everest Base Camp, started at UCLA, and took long road trips. She lived without the 5 a.m. alarm or the pressure to post. Here is the kicker. For a long time, she did not miss the ice at all. That speaks volumes about burnout. Most retirements are forced by injury. This was a choice. And chosen retirement feels different. It brings exhaustion followed by relief. Then, in early 2024, a casual ski trip happened. No judges, no pressure, just speed and cold air. She said the adrenaline felt familiar. Her body remembered the thrill before her mind did. Control, edges, and real risk. She returned to the rink just to explore a feeling, not to plot a major comeback. That distinction is vital. Skaters who return out of fear fail. Those driven by curiosity can change the sport. The first few days back were not exactly graceful. She was rusty and her timing was off. But the energy was completely different. She chose her own music and set her own pace. No machine was running her anymore. When she officially returned in late 2024, it surprised everyone. Winning the 2025 World Championship stunned them. Then came Milan, February 19th, 2026, free skate night. She was not the favorite or the main story. Then, she skated 7 triples, a flawless triple Lutz triple toe combination. The judges were transfixed. That final smile was not rehearsed. She took 2 massive gold medals home, 1 individual, 1 team, the first American woman in decades to do it. Now, the conversation turns to money. It always does. Before Milan, her net worth was estimated around $500,000. Modest for a star, considering the massive investment in her training. But gold changes everything. The U.S. Olympic Committee pays $37,500 per gold. She earned that twice. Major deals with Nike and Samsung were already waiting. Those contracts will look much bigger now. But the real value is not the cash. The question is what it costs to get there. It is not just about today. Beyond the medals, Alysa Liu's story is not about sudden wealth. It is about her talent, a talent that nearly broke under pressure but finally flourished when it belonged to her. The money finally followed the joy. Once Milan wrapped, the money talk started before the Olympic flame even flickered out. People estimate her net worth at $500,000. To most, that sounds crazy. 2 gold medals, global fame, and headline status. Yet, that figure still feels surprisingly tiny compared to the massive wealth we imagine Olympic stars have. Figure skating just isn't the same. It doesn't pay like basketball or football. The ice itself isn't the gold mine, the business around it is. And this is where Alysa Liu's journey gets real. Her father spent $500,000 to $1 million over 10 years, which we call a sacrifice. But after the medals, people call it an investment, like a guaranteed payout was always waiting. That story is clean, but it ignores the hard years. Those years had zero guarantees. No promised medals. No certainty of a career long enough to pay off. Before the 2026 Games, Alysa already had big-name sponsors attached to her rising star. Famous brands like Nike, Samsung, and Gillette Venus were already part of her circle. Those deals were based on potential. She was young, highly marketable, and incredibly gifted, but not a champion yet. Brands gamble on potential, but they pay a whole different rate once they see a gold medal. That is why the night of February 19, 2026 really matters. She started the free skate in third place. She wasn't the favorite or the safest bet to win. That gap isn't just about sports, it is about leverage. She delivered a flawless, clean free skate. 7 triples, a sharp triple Lutz combination. It didn't look desperate, it looked completely earned. Her score shot her to the lead. Then came Team Gold. 2 medals, 2 massive branding moments. There is also the cash. Under the U.S. Olympic Committee's Operation Gold, winning gold pays out. A gold medal earns roughly $37,500. She won 2. That is $75,000 direct. But that isn't the shock. The real move happens quietly inside the fine print of contracts. Endorsements follow milestones, making the team, medaling, or winning gold. Every win triggers bonuses, new negotiations, and bigger types of corporate partnerships. A deal signed before the games looks nothing like the massive contracts that arrive afterward. Fees go up, speaking invites flood in, and ice show tours start making serious financial offers. Those offers don't feel symbolic anymore. Here is a detail people ignore because it doesn't sound like money. But it is. She is 20. A 20-year-old double champion has a very long career runway. Brands aren't buying one season. They want years of relevance. Plus, she is a student at UCLA. That makes her relatable for corporate campaigns. She is also a Chinese-American star. Having appeal in 2 major markets doesn't guarantee wealth, but it definitely spikes massive commercial interest. Interest drives the bidding wars. None of this is accidental. Media schedules get very tight after victory. Agents hunt for the perfect interviews. A joyful champion is much easier to sell than someone burnt out. That genuine smile she had after the free skate is worth more than any technical element on a score sheet. But there is a deeper layer here. For years, money felt like pressure before it became a reward. The high costs came first. The heavy expectations came first. That setup can easily break a talent. It makes every skate feel like a debt. After Milan, the story flips. Now, the money is a result, not the fuel. That shift protects an athlete, which is also a business advantage since stability lowers risk. People miss that. Sponsors don't just invest in medals and wins. They invest in the hope that a person won't implode under pressure. Alysa already showed she could walk away when she needed to. She proved she could live without the rink, then returned easily. That reads well to the public. It also looks very different to the executives making the big decisions. So, when someone says her net worth is $500,000, they are looking backward. That number describes what she built before the Olympic boost. Real net worth estimates are usually slow. They lag behind the actual momentum of a champion's newest brand deals. Looking back is a mistake. It ignores current reality. After winning 2 gold medals, she is standing at the start of a major rise, not the end of her path. The real question is not if she builds wealth, but how fast and what she sacrifices to get it. Olympic history shows a clear pattern. It is rarely explained well. The gold medal is just the headline. The real money moves 2 years later. Look at past American champions from the Winter Games. That massive financial spike almost never hits. The week they win, It arrives when contracts renew and brands decide if this athlete is a platform. That distinction is vital for Alyssa Liu. One gold medal creates a buzz, but having two of them builds massive leverage. However, leverage only creates true wealth if the momentum is managed with absolute care. Some champions burn out too fast, saturating the media cycle before fading away entirely. Others choose strategic silence, fewer deals, higher value, and a much longer shelf life. Right now, she holds a rare hand. 20 years old, double gold medalist, with a comeback story that feels earned. This was not manufactured. That combination gives her pricing power, and that power is what shifts an athlete from comfortable to truly wealthy. Historically, American stars in figure skating see their endorsement portfolios explode in the 2 years following the games. Ice. Show contracts can easily hit 7 figures depending on the tour length and exclusivity. Corporate speaking gigs often reach high 5 or low 6 figures per talk for athletes with broad appeal. Big national ad campaigns push total earnings way beyond simple competition prize money. But here is where the path gets complicated. Because money in Olympic sports is never guaranteed. It is uneven. Success depends on personality, timing, and having the discipline to say no to most things. In 2026, the sports marketing world looks nothing like it did 2 decades ago. Social media metrics are now just as valuable as medals. Audience engagement is directly monetized. A clean, positive champion with strong online presence can negotiate big digital deals. These campaigns exist outside traditional TV spots. This expands income streams far beyond old-school logic. Alyssa already had solid partnerships before Milan, but now, those deals are being revisited. Performance bonuses are kicking in. Every renewal discussion has a new tone. A pre-Olympic athlete sells promise. A post-Olympic champion sells proof, and that proof drives valuation. There is another layer to this story that most people miss: the question of sustainability. Some athletes explode financially and then immediately plateau or crash. Others build slowly, letting their value compound. Compounding only happens when your reputation stays spotless. No scandals, no burnout, no fatigue. This is why her early retirement is so important. Walking away at 16 was controversial in the skating world. Analysts were divided. Many called it premature. Others saw it as survival. But from a brand perspective, it was a masterstroke. That break did something unique. It made her narrative three-dimensional. She is not just a child prodigy. She is the girl who left and returned on her own terms. That avoids being typecast. Typecast athletes are much harder to market over time. When novelty fades, so does the check. Layered stories last. Lasting interest sustains the deals. Then, we have to consider the international factor. A Chinese-American champion carries massive cross-market potential. Global brands value athletes who connect with multiple audiences. This can boost campaign budgets massively, especially in major Asian markets. Figure skating viewership remains huge there. Yet, growth is never a guarantee. The fastest way to fail is overexposure, followed by bad results. If results dip in the next seasons, sponsors pull back. If public interest cools down, her total valuation will flatten out. So, the idea that her net worth of $500,000 will multiply is not a guess. It is a probability based on history. But probability is never a certainty. Her case is stronger because of something quiet. She does not look desperate for the spotlight. Athletes who chase every dollar signal insecurity. She stays calm, and that drives her value up. Selectivity signals stability. And stability is what wins those long-term contracts. Timing is everything. The 2026 Games broke a 24-year gold drought for American figure skating. Breaking that streak carries massive symbolic value. And symbolism boosts replay value. Replay value keeps brand storytelling alive across campaign cycles. But a subtle shift is happening. Before 2022, her financial narrative was about cost. The money spent. the sacrifices made, whether it would pay off. After Milan, the story becomes yield. Yield is much easier to talk about. It is clean, like math. But it still relies on human factors. Motivation and health. The gold medal brought fame. It did not promise longevity. Right now, Alysa Liu is not at the peak of her earning power. She is at the starting line. The next 18 to 24 critical months will decide if her net worth hits millions or settles lower than the usual Olympic myths. That is where the real drama lives now. There is a simple version of this story that ends perfectly. Father spends a fortune. Daughter wins 2 gold medals. Wealth grows. Everyone says it was worth it. Real life is rarely that tidy. On paper, the numbers finally look promising. Roughly $75 in prize money from 2 golds, plus the pre-existing endorsement deals that should skyrocket after Milan. Ice show contracts are waiting. Those appearance fees are no longer just symbolic. The curve moves up, but projections are not the same as bank statements. And timing is key. The post-game months are loud. Non-stop cameras. Quiet negotiations in hotel boardrooms. Many athletes get lost in that rush. It feels like progress. Momentum. Often, it is just noise. The big question is not what she made in February. It is what she chooses in 2027. History tells a story about Olympic champions in individual sports. The first year is chaos. The second year proves the discipline. Some vanish. Some grow. Some reinvent themselves past the medal. Alysa Liu already proved she can walk away from what defines her. That choice carries weight that should not be overlooked financially. Walking away once changes how you bargain later. There is a massive difference between someone hunting for cash and someone deciding if money fits their life. That rarely makes headlines, but it defines career length. And here is the one detail that still lingers. When she retired at 16, she said skating felt like someone else's business. That feeling never left. It just went quiet. After Milan, the focus was on joy, the smile, and being there. The body language was different, relaxed. No trace of panic in her eyes during the free skate. That matters. Brands notice it. Audiences feel it too, even if they cannot explain why. But joy is fragile in pro sports. Endorsements come with heavy expectations. Expectations demand scheduling. Scheduling leads to burnout. Fatigue can start to feel like that old cage. Nothing is guaranteed. The most profitable Olympic careers are not just built on winning. They rely on emotional consistency, trust, and staying out of trouble. It is about careful pacing. Right now, she has leverage. A 20-year-old double gold medalist is extremely rare. She ended that 24-year drought for American women on the Olympic stage. That statistic will be used in marketing pitches for years. But medals age. People move on. New stars appear. Headlines are replaced. The only real asset is her next chapter. Her current net worth, roughly $500,000 before the Olympic boost, is not shocking because it is huge. It is shocking because it is small compared to her fame. We assume Olympic gold means instant riches. In reality, it only provides an opportunity, and that opportunity must be converted. Conversion depends entirely on her choices. Will she keep competing? Will she scale back her schedule to protect her long-term health? Will she take every deal or stay selective? Will she be the athlete who knows when to pause? There is also something deeper under the surface. The original financial risk wasn't hers. It belonged to her father. Between $500,000 and $1 million spent over 10 years. That kind of devotion feels like love. It also feels like heavy baggage. Now, for the very first time, she holds the purse strings. This shift alters family life, even in happy homes. It changes who calls the shots and carries the burden. Nobody discusses this out loud. But it's real. Ironically, her most precious asset wasn't a triple Lutz. It was restraint, having the guts to walk away when it felt wrong, then returning without looking desperate. If she keeps that gut feeling sharp, her net worth could skyrocket into several millions over the coming years. Renewing deals, tour money, and exclusive ads. But if she loses that edge, cash might vanish as quickly as it came. Right now, Alysa Liu is standing at a very silent and private crossroads. Behind her, $1 million spent, 2 Olympic gold medals, and a comeback that shocked her entire sport. Ahead of her, unsigned deals, seasons not yet skated, and choices that won't be visible until much later on. So, perhaps the most honest way to view her net worth isn't as a static figure. It's a major turning point. Medals are permanent, but the money flows. And the next chapter belongs solely to her,